The backrooms are a horror element unlike most. On the surface, it doesn't come off like your average scary monster or otherworldly dimension. So, what makes it so unnerving to its viewers? Well, the backrooms operate on the fear of liminal space, the yellow painted walls, old, damp carpet, the faint buzzing of fluorescent lights above, all going on for what seems like forever. A never-ending, bland emptiness of space. This type of unnerving vibe can actually be found in other aspects of media as well. Old video games are most notorious for this, as the developers didn't have much to work with, leaving some levels with a certain vibe that just felt off. The Half-Life franchise is one I see a lot of people point out, but one I've yet to have seen, and I think does deserve credit, is Cry of Fear. I remember back in 2013, turning on my family computer and booting up Cry of Fear. I was aware that it was a game that should have been scary for its psychological and visceral horror elements. But in between was an empty game. A deserted city. It was you and the overwhelming feeling of nothingness. Today, we're going to be talking about this fear of liminal space that the Backrooms by Kane Pixels has instilled upon the millions who have watched. So, here is my in-depth analysis of the Backrooms by Kane Pixels. A lot of people are under the impression that the lore of the Backrooms has been around for a while, but the first mention actually dates back to May 12th of 2019. On the 4chan board, Paranormal, an anonymous user asked for others to upload photos that just felt off. Another user then posted a photo of an off-centered yellow room. This is when one comment would begin what has now become the definite description of what the Backrooms are. If you are not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you end up in the Backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. This sparked a frenzy of memes to spread across Twitter. While these didn't quite take the Backrooms too seriously, I'm sure TikTok would. Oh wait, it's actually worse over there. A few creepypastas would attempt to translate this short description into comprehensive stories, but most, if not all, came off as lackluster and just seemed to miss the mark. Until one video surfaced by a young teenager on YouTube, Kane Pixels. Kane would take this idea along with his animation skills and create a video from the point of view of someone who had no-clipped into the Backrooms. This video would be praised as a masterpiece, the only form of media that has ever felt like it was done right by the original post. Kane seemingly took this opportunity and his incredible skill set for ambient music and animation, and turned this singular video into only one of many more to come. I understand that Kane's upload of each video isn't necessarily in chronological order, but for sake of keeping this video simple, we will be going through each video by time of upload and try to put the pieces together the best we can. Afterwards, we'll be going through his list of unlisted videos and any hints that he may have outside of the videos to what exactly is going on, and we will form a theory around that. Found footage. We open and are immediately met with a date given. June 4th. The year isn't clear as there is a digit missing, but it seems to be implied to be set somewhere in the 90s. The video opens with a few teenagers creating a film. When the take ends, the director asks the cameraman to get one more wide-angle shot, and they should be all good for the scene. As he steps back, something strange happens. The cameraman's grasp on our reality seems to have been lost as he falls through the ground, waking up in what seems to be an empty office building. We then watch as he wanders and calls out for his friends.
Hello? Hey guys! What is this?
As he treks further into the vast emptiness, he comes across arrows etched in black on the walls, possible directions left by someone before. He is then met with horrific warnings. Don't move. Stay still. At this moment, a tall, lanky, and almost animatronic-like creature charges him, forcing the cameraman to maneuver through the maze in a panic. He escapes this monstrosity by jumping into a hole in the floor. We are then introduced to a new level, this almost resembling that of a home, but with random pieces scattered throughout with no rhyme or reason. As he makes his way through this new environment, it turns to what seems to be a possible complex of rooms, and soon enough, something much more industrial. We see a warning sign. Danger. High voltage. Keep out. The cameraman then makes his way to what looks to be an office space of some randomly generated feel. He makes his way through a door marked as a fire exit, only to be met with the first level once more. A chair flies into the wall ahead, and he hides as the creature who chased him before has come back. This time, it would not end as well. The cameraman is taken by the monster while his camera falls through the shaft below, but when we'd expect the camera to hit the ground with a shatter, it warps through the floor and back into the normal world. The third test. This next installment begins with images of multiple blueprints for some kind of machine. A voiceover then begins to explain that on July 2nd, 1988, a research facility known as Async tested a low-proximity magnetic distortion system for the third time. The details of the project's discovery has not yet been released to the public. This voice explains that the vice president of the Async Foundation, Ivan Beck, had planned a solution for all storage and residential needs. The video then ends with the footage of this device's third test. First contact. We open with an FBI warning stating that distribution of this footage will be regarded as an unlawful act before cutting to the Async logo. This video reveals it as test number 6, with the remaining title redacted. We are shown a list of modifications supposedly made between now and the previous test, some of which have also been redacted for unknown reasons. We then see a separate angle of the device shown in test number 3, while the third test displayed what seemed to be a violent malfunction. It was nothing in comparison. This would be the Async researchers' first viewing of what they had discovered.
missing persons.
This one opens with multiple shots of missing person flyers. Nicholas Bolton, Margaret Watson, an unnamed man, 2-year-old Ellis White, and Janice Scott. A graph is then displayed showing that between the years 1987 and 1993, missing person cases skyrocketed. This graph comes to an abrupt halt as we are brought back to the entrance of the Async device. The date displayed, February 3rd, 1990. We follow the point of view of one amongst many researchers in what seems to be a form of hazmat suits. Walking through their newly discovered terrain, all is silent but the breathing of the researcher until...
I've never seen this before. It may just be part of the environment. But it makes no sense. Why would they be identical to you? This makes no sense. This wasn't in the last report? No, this is definitely new. It's organic. Must be some kind of fungus?
While these men had just found the grotesque remains of a person, they seemed to remain relatively calm, as if this may not have been much of a surprise.
Informational video.
This video starts off, as the title suggests, an informational video. So, this is a training video for newly recruited researchers to the Async project.
Welcome to the Project KV-31 Research and Development Team. In this short, informative video, you will be briefed on the required protocol in regard to Project KV-31, as well as receive an overview of future development plans. What is Project KV-31? Project KV-31 pertains to the study and development of the Async low-proximity magnetic distortion system. For the sake of convenience, you may hear your peers refer to the project under any of the following titles: the machine, the door, the backrooms, the complex, hallways. Unauthorized usage of these terms outside of the Async research facility is strictly prohibited. Reach the threshold without guided supervision. Never enter the complex alone. All expeditions are to be comprised of no fewer than 3 individuals.
The video abruptly ends after a warning to stay in groups no less than 3. We are brought to another point of view of what we can now properly call the door. The researcher steps in and reveals 3 others with him as they follow the Async safety guidelines that were previously stated. The footage cuts to what is assumed to be moments later, where the researcher has lost his group and is now alone. Almost immediately, his breathing begins to be that of panic as he hears the loud chatter of a crowd with nothing in sight.
Hey guys, can you hear this?
It would be assumed that he is hearing this due to a psychological issue or some sort of hallucination, but the camera picks it up as well. He spots his group for a moment and asks if they're experiencing the same, but as quickly as they came back into his field of view.
Hey! Guys. Guys? George? Moving! Hey!
While alone, he finds what looks to be an empty auditorium with some kind of debris center stage. He wanders further, becoming more frantic the longer the footage runs. He finds a hole in one of the walls, turns on his flashlight, and begins a descent into the darkness. He leaves and heads back into the maze, finding a door with a sign that suggests to walk through it. We can see that the handle has the number 8 on it, suggesting that there are likely other doors of this nature. He opens the door, revealing it's another research facility. It looks to be used for viewing of this space, but as far as the audience is aware, Async only has the one facility, that of which was the door they used to go in and out of the complex. Alarm sound, and the room turns a blood red. Followed by a cut to a diagram of the facility he had just entered.
Autopsy report.
We open to an autopsy report of a John Doe on February 5th, 1990. We hear a voice explaining what seems to be the description of a body recovered from the complex. This is where things get really interesting.
I estimate that the time of death was around 5 days ago, but due to the severe tissue damage, it's hard to say for sure. The cause of death was likely malnutrition. I was able to recover most of the digestive tract. So, things start to deviate from what we would consider to be natural. The decomposition process appears to have been stunted somehow. It's like portions of the body stopped decaying and were sustained. Other areas, however, were completely overtaken by culture. So I took a couple samples of some of the material here. At first, I thought it was an aggregated collection of Pseudomonas fluorescens, but it seems to be closer to a mutated strain of simple hay bacillus, which it should be completely benign, but, well, really, I don't know what to make of this. Mr. Beck, may I ask where this subject came from?
This is the first hint that something might be going on in there that the researchers did not have knowledge of. As the video had explained, some portions of tissue decayed at the expected rate, and others stopped and remained intact. That, along with the abnormal growths and an unknown virus strain, can tell us one thing for certain. Async was taking the proper precautions by wearing those hazmat suits.
Motion detected.
March 5th, 1990. We open to the door. It's immediately shown that Async has expanded their facility to the inside of the complex now. As the construction continues, we can also see cameras set up viewing the surrounding area. It's revealed that these cameras have been modified to alert and begin recording when motion is detected. If we remember back to the first video, we can assume at some point Async became aware of what lurks in the complex and is now taking further safety precautions. We are then shown footage of motion that had been detected the night of March 5th. Let's take a look. Wait, was that the same creature from the first video? Or is that something entirely new?
Prototype.
On May 10th, 1982, we are brought to Oak Ridge National Laboratory. By the title and year shown, it's plausible to assume that the device shown in this installment is the first attempt to create what would later be known as the door. As this small device activates, it gives off a similar effect to that of the third test footage. But suddenly shuts down, ending the video.